Hey guys, it's Crystal Lee Moore-Lucier here, also known as your Home Sweet Home 519 Realtor, Crystal Lee Moore, and I am here with Realtor Life. Today, we're going to be talking about staying the course, staying informed, and filling up your cup. So let's get started. This is the end of 2024, and it has been a year. But like with anything, staying the course is the most important thing. And as we kind of go through and focus on the fundamentals, that's where we really see a difference. We tend to be in this like add water and stir world where everything is supposed to be really quick or really easy, and the next person around the corner is going to be able to give you an app that will just get clients for you and it'll be amazing. But at the end of the day, if you think about it, the fundamentals are fundamentals for a reason, and they might not be the sexiest. But I have conversations with realtors all the time, and there's always something. So whether it's spending $5,000 on a course for AI or $10,000 on this course to get more leads or to grow, at the end of all of it, if you are not building more relationships, putting more people into your database and nurturing those relationships, your business will not grow. So you can have tons of people you can do like the spray and pray and turn yourself into like a corporation. And there's people that do that. Like I remember back in the day, I had wanted to join this real estate team. It's actually the only reason I became a realtor was to join this team. And one of the things that everyone else liked about the team was that the main broker owner had created kind of this like machine. So he hired inside sales representatives. He was like, that was the thing. And I, as a new realtor, I didn't really understand why that part was important. I just really I liked what they were about. I thought it was cool. I put my all into getting my license. I did my interview, and then the inevitable, the worst thing that could ever happen happened. And I passed all the exams. I did everything, but someone on his team was like, I don't know what the deal was, but they just thought I would be a bad realtor. And so they said as much, and he's like, you know what? Like it's not going to work out. I'm not going to hire you. And I was devastated, guys. I was like, this is why I got my license. I didn't really have a plan B. And ultimately I ended up working with another company, and I tried a few things. Now, 15 years later, am I happy that I didn't get to work with them? Yes, I am. It was just, I don't think I would have grown or learned or built what I've built if I had just kind of stayed there, but I had to stay the course. And just like with anything else, when you think about, you could build this like machine of a real estate thing. There's not that many that are successful at it. There's a system. You have to know it. You have to live it. And you have to have the money, the people. There's a lot of different things in the mix. There's a lot of people out there that will try and sell you the ability to do this without the tools you need. And at the end of the day, it's still the fundamentals. So all of these people that are part of this machine are still doing the fundamentals. They're nurturing relationships. They're figuring it out. If you can figure out how to get more calls, just incoming calls, that's fantastic. Absolutely. But are you going to kind of give up the things that work just so that you can field the calls and kind of just do the basics? And maybe it is. The best part about this business is you get to decide why you're doing it. What I teach people though is that the why is everything. Because on a day that's horrible, on a day when you have to give someone bad news, on a day when you just can't sell a house to save your life, the why has to be bigger. And if you're just getting calls from a bunch of strangers, you don't know them, they don't know you, what's going to keep you coming in? And if it's money, I have a news flash for everyone out there. There's going to be some times, like some seasons in real estate, when you are crushing it and you get tons of money. The CRA loves it too, because then you're going to give them most of it. But there's also going to be times when you're not making as much money, and you're going to have to figure out how to keep going, how to stay the course, to not give up, and to know that if you keep doing all the things that you are supposed to be doing, that you will succeed. And that has to be like a faith. Now, not blind faith. So you always want to be paying attention. Thank you, Tony Robbins. Pay attention and notice if it's working. So you stay the course with the fundamentals. And what are the fundamentals? Okay, so you're putting people into your database. You are getting to know them. You're making phone calls. You are dropping off personal notes. You are dropping off gifts. You're providing items of value. You're showing yourself to be an expert in your field, doing open houses, getting in front of clients, having lunches with people, all these great things. But look at the last 10 sales you've had. Look at the last 20 sales you've had. Can you trace those sales to your activities? And does one stand out more? For example, if you have sold 50 houses and not one of those people has ever said to you, wow, I'm so happy that I stopped my car at this bus bench and your number was there, and I called your number because I didn't know any realtors, and now I've bought this house. If none of those sales are there, then what is the bus bench for? At the same time, if you can look back and you have a few sales from having that bus bench, there I was, stopped at the red light, didn't have any realtors in mind, saw your bus bench, loved the advertising, thought that's the person I need selling my house, and then here we are. So if you have ROI, so return on investment on any of the activities you do, yeah, go for it, have some fun. But if you're doing something that isn't giving you return, should you be doing it? And the other question you can ask yourself is it direct return or indirect return? I'll give you an example. So I sponsor a lot of things. I do a lot of charity work and I do a lot of sponsorships. And some of those sponsorships I hope will turn into direct referrals. So I'll sponsor and then people will see my name there and they'll be like, wow, Crystal, noticed your sign outside. And you know what? I was here just for this event, but as it turns out, I want to sell my house. Let's talk. That would be great. More often than not, though, it's more just deciding what are your pillars. So if one of your pillars is I am a great realtor because I have experience, I support the community, and I am always learning, then anything you do to show who you are will ultimately turn into people seeing who you are and then trusting you as a realtor. So in a situation with sponsoring, maybe you're sponsoring just to show your community support, and anything you get from that is a bonus, which I think is a better way to look at it. But you really just decide, because if you need that return on that event, you might have to just be very careful on which events you go for. And it depends who you are too. Like something might work for me that doesn't work for you. Something might work for you that doesn't work for me. And that's why getting to know yourself and getting to know your business is so important. But just stay the course and make sure you are, make sure that you are trusting the process but paying attention along the way. And okay, which brings us to number 2, stay informed. Today, we all listened at my office, a group of us. I set up a time for us to watch Brian Buffini's Bold Predictions. And Bold Predictions is something that Brian does twice a year. So he does a mid-year update and an end-of-year update. And he really, if you're not listening to these bold predictions, I think that that's a big mistake. So Brian Buffini makes it his business, and I do mean business, to find out every single thing that is important to know about real estate and about the market that anyone would ever need to know. He goes above and beyond. He sits on boards. He interviews. He sits down. Dr. Lawrence Yoon was on the podcast today, or on the webinar, and as he always is. And so when we're listening to this information, it's important that we know it's not just us trusting this real estate coach guy, who, by the way, is amazing, but it's trusting that he does his due diligence. He does the work so that we can take that information, trust it, and then go back to our clients. So Brian's thoughts for the upcoming year are that we're going to have a strong spring. I don't think we're going to have like COVID frenzy for a while. I think it's going to be quite some time if we ever have it again, right? Like that was insane. But the market is a funny place. If you just have the right people thinking that houses might be selling out, and all of a sudden you'll have kind of a rush, and you could have people thinking, oh my goodness, it's gloom and doom, and then all of a sudden things will sit. So as realtors, as business owners, it's very important that all the time we're leading our clients. We are showing them the way. And whether that means that we're allowing them to ask us questions, whatever it is, don't get in the trap of talking someone into or out of a sale. Buyers buy, sellers sell, and everyone else in between is either going to do it eventually or not. But if a buyer wants to buy, you give them the best advice that you have available. You direct them to the other people that they might need to speak to, like an accountant or a lawyer or a financial advisor. And then you do your job, which is to help them with the purchase that they would like to do. And you do it with honesty and integrity, but you don't need to tell them that they should be buying right now or that they should wait and buy. Because the thing is, nobody can time the market. So no one knows for sure if you should buy right now or if you should buy in 1 month or you should buy in 2 months. Personally, I think the best time to buy is now. It's a great time. But I think it's a good time if you want to buy a house right now. I think that if you convince anyone of anything, like that's their purchase. Like you are guiding, you are helping, you are supporting, but you're not buying it for them. So you shouldn't be telling them whether they should buy it or not. Now, if you're the kind of realtor that's your jam and your clients trust you and that's what you do, all the power to you. It's just, I don't think for a lot of people, I know even as a buyer myself, I do not want to be told what I should buy or not buy because it comes down to a feeling. And when you're looking at an investment property versus a home you live in, that's kind of why you have specializations. So I have a team. On my team is myself. I have a colleague who's also on the team, and we have an assistant. My colleague loves investment properties. That is her jam. She loves it. Now, can she show houses? Can she list houses? Of course she can. But her jam is investment properties. For me, my jam is residential properties. Residential resale is my happy place. So I love working with families. I am good at it. I build trust. I build connection. I'm very good at negotiating. But negotiating from a family residential point, which is different than the investment point. Because investment, you're looking kind of like, what's your cap rate? What's the ROI? How can you rent it? How can you do this? Very different questions than how does this house feel? When I walk in, does it feel like home? When my kids walk in and we're building memories, does it feel like this is where we want to stay? Right? So it's a different thing. And when it comes down to it, you want to be able to give them that feeling, but give them the peace of mind of knowing that you are paying attention to the market. You can guide them. You can connect them with who they need to be connected with. But if it's time for them to buy and they have all their ducks in a row and they have their pre-approval financially, everything's been approved, the inspection went well, this is where they want to live, it doesn't make sense to step in the way of that or to try to speed it up, right? So we're here to guide people to find their homes or to guide people to find an investment property, because investing in real estate is a great idea. It's just we need to be able to give people direction without overstepping. And the staying informed is a big deal. So Royal LePage has a lot of great updates. We have a great resource. A lot of companies have their own version of that. And make sure you're just paying attention. So Phil Soper is the CEO of Royal LePage. He's often in the public eye, kind of giving his insight about the market. And those are things that we want to pay attention to. Our brokerage sends out monthly stats about sales and average prices. That's important. You want to pay attention to it and make sure you have it available for your clients. And just keeping informed and being that expert, that guide, it builds trust. And trust is the foundation of that client relationship. And then finally, fill your cup. So as we get to the end of the year, this is the time to show gratitude and we love on our clients with gifts and maybe parties. We give, there's toy drives and clothing drives and mitten and scarf and blanket drives and food drives. And this is just the time. But make sure in all that time that you're taking that self-care time. So maybe it's yoga, maybe it's meditating, maybe it's playing guitar, maybe it's going for a beautiful walk. I had the opportunity to interview Alka Joshi, and she's amazing. Like, what a phenomenal woman. She is a best-selling author of 3 books, soon to be 4. And during COVID, we had the opportunity talk about self-care. COVID was insane. And one element of self-care I did is I asked a bunch of women to get together with me and do a virtual book club. And we followed the Hello Sunshine book club, and it was wonderful. It ended up disbanding. It got a little bit complicated with so many different styles. And when you get people together, people wanted to try different books, and we tried them. And then the scheduling, as the world opened up again, got a little bit difficult. But there were these magic months when we were all reading these books that were magical. And the first book was The Henna Artist by Alka Joshi. And this book brings you to Jaipur, quite, 60 years ago, I want to say, or 70 years ago. And it just transports you. And she's just a phenomenal writer. But we stay tuned in a couple of days for our interview. But we were talking about self-care and how important it is. Neil Pasricha talks about just like the idea of making sure you take time, even if you only have a little bit of time, doing like your gratitudes and going forest bathing. So walking through the woods, or if you can't walk through the woods, putting on a video of someone else walking through the woods so that you can feel the calm and relaxation. Whatever it is that fills up your cup, you can't give from an empty cup. Buffini talks about this all the time. Like, we fill up our cup so that we can just be everything to the people around us the way we love being. But if we are only giving and giving and giving and we're never filling that up, that's the recipe for burnout or exhaustion, and that's not fun for anyone. So lean into that self-care and to making sure that as we wrap the year and we go into another year, that you're able to just experience all the wonder and amazingness that this career, that anything that you do can bring. And whether you're a realtor, whether you are an entrepreneur, a business owner, we're all in the same boat where we only have so much time in the day and on the planet. And how are you spending it? Are you spending it just working? And if you're passionate about your work, maybe that's okay. But just make sure you take time for the people you love, the time for you, and time just to be grateful, because it's amazing that we have this world and that we have our health. Things will always go wrong, and things will always not be quite what we think sometimes, and that's okay. It's an adventure. Life and adventures aren't always positive. Adventures have ups and they have downs and they have peaks and they have valleys, but be around the people that lift you up. Do the things that make you happy, and then be the light for other people. So, quick reminder, so stay the course, stay informed, and fill up your cup. I'm Crystal Lemore Lucier. This is Realtor Life. I am also known as your Home Sweet Home 519 Realtor, Crystal Lemore. Thank you for listening. I'm so happy you're here, and I will see you soon.